It's a countdown to the semifinals presented by Principal. That's right, Houston, Texas, where everything's bigger, including the chaos in this tournament, including the stadium, including the Houston Rodeo, and including this show. I had to throw in the Houston Rodeo. There we go. King McClure, Sam Ravech, I'm Jason Fitz. Again, it's the countdown to the semifinals presented by Principal. And gentlemen, it's been wild. It's been a chaotic year. It has been March in ways that we never thought that we would ever see. We'll get to all of that. We've got some big special guests coming up, a lot to get to in this show. But can we start before we get to any of that? I'm just going to say 2 words, and then I'll let you boys just do your work. Caitlin Clark.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. Back-to-back 40 pieces in the NCAA tournament when it matters the most. Elite 8, Final 4. I was in my hotel room last night watching it, enjoying a piece of cheesecake and some ice cream.
That's a good night. Sounds like a good.
And watching Caitlin Clark just get buckets.
Well, okay, what kind of cheesecake?
It was a plain one, but it wasn't that good, though.
Okay, what kind of ice cream?
It was like vanilla gelato, just straight vanilla, which is not really a great combination, but, you know, I made it work. I make it do what it do, right? But Caitlin Clark does, too, right? When you watch her last night and the way that she makes the game look so easy, and we know she can score. We know she can shoot it from the long range and the logo, but the pick and roll reads, how she frees up her teammates because she's such a great scorer. Man, she's phenomenal. I can't wait. I'm going to the game tomorrow. I can't wait. Going back to this hometown.
Did we get the invite to the cheesecake, the ice cream, or the game?
You got the big goose
okay,
there, Fitz. Yeah, I mean, look, after calling, women's college basketball this whole year and years past, the question was, is anybody going to beat South Carolina this year? And it wasn't really, it wasn't going to be a player. It needs to be a team. And Caitlin Clark relied heavily on her team, even though she did take so many shots. They were the team to beat them. That's how it went.
It was a legendary night for a legendary player in a legendary upset that is incredible for women's basketball. I'm going to say it again. Caitlin Clark, put some respect on that name because absolutely amazing work. In the meantime, we've got games tonight that we need to get you ready for, obviously. 2 Final Four matchups. FAU taking on San Diego State, Miami versus UConn. And the thing is, how'd they get here? Look at UConn through this whole road. What I see are a bunch of blowouts, guys. Just a bunch of big wins along the way.
The domination in Arkansas first. That was a good team. When it comes to Ken Pom loves Arkansas. They love the metrics. And then they follow it up and do the same thing to Gonzaga. Wow. They're playing the best basketball.
I just think it's really hard to see a UConn team that has played this well in the tournament suddenly not play the way that they have been playing. Look, they're just the 10th team this century to have 4 double-digit wins en route to the Final Four. 19 games this season won by 15 or more points, which is tied for most in the country. And on top of all of it, head coach Danny Hurley just has this team that he can roll out like hockey line changes because they are so deep, whether it be Naheem Aline off the bench, whether it be Joey California, a.k.a. Joey California, a.k.a. Joey Calcaterra. It's just been really impressive to watch UConn play. I don't know if there's a team that can beat them or at least can slow them down. That's the question. Can anyone slow down UConn?
This graphic, by the way, beautifully done by the people behind the scenes as you watch everybody else left in the cold. Ironic, too, on a very nice day today in beautiful Connecticut. But you're 1,000% right. And look, when it comes to Connecticut, I just think we need to remember that while there are blue blood conversations, the legacy of Connecticut, what they've been able to UConn has been able to accomplish in championship speaks for itself. They are in an unprecedented Final Four. UConn is not unprecedented being here. No
doubt. They've been here quite a few times. I mean, if you go back to, we'll talk about blue bloods later. I don't know what we need to do or what us as society need to do to recognize UConn as a blue blood. I think they are one.
I think it's a little too premature to put them in the blue blood conversation.
Just a little teaser.
I mean, they are blue, right? They are blue, but I wouldn't put them in the blue blood conversation.
Okay. All right. Well, I would like to commend this show for getting this far into it, not saying the words Miami Hurricanes, especially given all of our friendships with Christine Williamson, who you know is doing God's work covering all sorts of great stuff for the company and is an absolute Miami Hurricane unless she's a Clemson Tiger. But anyway, here's Miami's road. It included a first-round win against Drake that was a little bit closer than I think some people expected. And then all of a sudden that made question marks rise. But ever since then, they've played really efficient. They've played really well. And that was an impressive win over Texas.
Offensively, these guys can get buckets. They arguably, this is a really funny picture. They arguably might have the best backcourt in the Final Four that's left. When you look at Nigel Pack, you look at Isaiah Wong and what those guys can do. I mean, these guys beat the #1 seed in Houston, who is a great defensive team. They impose their physicality on you from the start, and Kelvin Sampson is known for their good levels of defense, right? But they put up 89 on those guys. Then they turn around and play a Texas team who played in the Big 12 where defense was the name of the game. So you have to be able to play defense. And Miami put up 85. That's impressive. Jordan Miller, Isaiah Wong, Nigel Pack, those three, you know guards can get it done. And I think that Miami has a chance to beat UConn, even though UConn's playing terrific.
I agree with everything that King says for a lot of different reasons, one of which being UConn, when you look at it, actually doesn't have a true point guard right now. I mean, they've had some difficulty, having that guy bring the ball up the floor. We'll see how that goes out. I think when it comes to Miami, though, it's just been amazing to see how them and Coach L as a program have adjusted and adapted to the new way of college basketball, right? I mean, they were at the forefront, and that's huge and a big reason why they're here. There are so many stories also in college basketball where it didn't work out. So it takes a good coach like Coach L to make it all work.
That's why you should give a damn about Miami, because they are paving the way for everybody to see the transfer portal and NIL and how they can be used in college basketball specifically to build a team that can win. Let's go to one of the Cinderellas through all of this, the San Diego State Aztecs. You all know that I cram UNLV into every show. Well, as a kid growing up, if you'd have told me that San Diego State was going to be repping, I never would have believed it. San Diego State gets their way here. Again, you can see all of it. And the Creighton finish was obviously one of the signature moments of this entire tournament.
San Diego State might have pulled off the biggest upset of the tournament when you really think about it. The upset against Alabama. I think almost everybody that was an expert in college basketball had chose Alabama to win the national championship. So when I saw that come across my timeline, I mean, Florida Atlantic had won some big games. We saw what Fairleigh Dickinson did. But in my opinion, San Diego State over Alabama, I think nobody had that one. Nobody chose that.
No. Yeah.
So I think that might have been arguably the biggest upset of the tournament. And the way that those guys defend offensively, we know they're not great. They're not special. They're going to milk the game. It's going to be a gritty game. They're going to try to keep it in the 50s or 60s. But that's their MO. That's what they do so well. And defensively, this team has always been the top 25 team in the past 3 or 4 years. And Matt Bradley, if he can be the Matt Bradley that we know that he is, they can get to the national championship, and that's unheard of. Nobody would have said that at the beginning of this season.
Imagine the irony of the first team on the West Coast in years winning a championship being San Diego. Not Gonzaga, not UCLA,
Crazy.
not USC, being San Diego State.
But also the way they're doing it, too. You think of some West Coast teams that have been really well. It's the offense that carries them. San Diego State's 22-0 when they hold opponents to less than 65 points a game. And this number may not seem crazy, but statistically, San Diego State is blocking 13% of the shot attempts against them. 13%. I mean, that's unheard of, and it's a small percent. Over the course of a game, it's a lot. I think in order to win, you have to score. San Diego State, the offense is a big question mark for me. FAU has already played a team just like San Diego State in Tennessee, and they beat them. Yeah. They're a very similar team in defense way. So we'll see.
Speaking of FAU, let's take a look at their path to where they are right now. And you mentioned it there. By the way, they're the Owls for many of you that are still trying to figure that out. And you're right. Tennessee was a team that really thought that they had aspirations. And obviously, Kansas State comes off of an incredible emotional win against Michigan State. So you think, oh, look at that is just, that Owl's big pimping the whole way. It's just big, or what is it, little in a bird's nest? Is that how that would do?
It looks like an owl's nest.
Yeah, I'm not good with science.
Do owls protect birds? I don't know. I don't know how this works. But for FAU, this is one of those moments that even their coaches will tell you that it's been a oh my God, I can't believe we're here experience. So obviously, quickly, I think this is a huge moment for them.
Yeah, there's two things about this team that I love. Number one, they don't think they're a Cinderella. They actually believe in themselves. They think that they deserve to be there, and they believe that they should be there. And number two, they're just fearless. They're gritty.
I'll just say this about FAU. Is it a shock that the program FAU is in this Final Four? Absolutely. Is it a shock this team is in the Final Four? No. This is a very good basketball team.
Yeah, well, one reason that they're here is because they ended one of the best stories in all of college basketball this year. That was Kansas State.
Markquis Nowell has become the story of the tournament.
What do you take away from this New York kid doing what he did last night?
He went all Kemba Walker on us. So then I came down.
Man, the tournament makes legends. Markquis Nowell, part of that this year. Incredible run. He joins us now. And, man, we'll get to your tournament run in a second, but we got to start. You had a big announcement this week. You've decided to declare for the NBA draft. So what went into your decision?
I mean, I just felt like I had a great, senior year, especially with, playing in the Big 12. I felt like, I made a name for myself. And, the next step is, has always been my dream and my focus. So, I felt real comfortable with my decision.
Markquis, we'll get to your New York City roots in just a bit here. But, I mean, when you look at the city, a lot of NBA talent has come out of the Big Apple. Who were some of the players that you really watched and keyed in on growing up?
I watched Kemba Walker, a lot. I watched Sebastian Telfair, Mark Jackson, Kenny Smith, all the greats, Lance Stevenson, Isaiah Briscoe, Isaiah Whitehead. So they were some of the guys that, I modeled my game after.
To piggyback off of Sam's question, there's a lot of guys that come out of New York City, but who would you compare your game to as of right now?
I think I got a little Kemba Walker in me. I mean, just the dog in me, the will to win, and the will to take over a game. I feel like me and him have, many similarities.
Keith, you pretty much manifested your MSG debut with this DM to NBA trainer, Chris Brickley. Can you talk a little bit about what it was like to play at the Garden for somebody who did look up to a guy like Kemba Walker, who had so many memorable moments in there? What was it like for you in your experience?
Man, it was so much fun. I mean, just dreaming of playing in the Garden one day and just working my hardest to get that opportunity. I mean, like you said, I manifested it, I worked for it, and just when I got to the Garden, it's hard not to play good in front of guys like Spike Lee, Carmelo Anthony, Cameron, Jadakiss. I mean, it was just, just me playing in my playground.
All right, so your playground, Madison Square Garden. I was there. I was in the arena watching all this magic go down. And, I'm like, 15 rows behind you watching you jump up and down with 1 foot. Like, it's a magical moment, right? But the play that everybody was talking about, because of where I was sitting, all I saw was you make a beautiful pass for a dunk, which you did about 52 times during the course of that game. Only to find out later, everybody's talking about the argument between you and your coach on what the play call should be. So answer the controversy. Was it a real argument or was it a staged distraction?
Man, I got to keep the suspense, man. I don't know. That's for y'all to answer. But, that was a great play. I mean, that was two players making plays. I mean, I threw it up to Keontae. Keontae is an amazing athlete. I mean, you throw it up anywhere around the rim, he's going to catch it and finish it. So, I mean, that's for y'all to decide.
Oh, so that's
I like that.
That's game right there.
Leave him hanging.
Knowing Coach Tang, though, and knowing how he is playing for him for 4 years, that was probably staged. And they probably worked on that a few times, knowing how Coach Tang is. But Markquis, now that the tournament is over, how has it changed your life?
Man, my lifestyle has upgraded for the better. I've been, I've just been truly blessed. Again, receiving phone calls from all people. I just been blessed. I mean, the NBA is starting to look like a reality to me. It's not looking like, a dream anymore. And man, I just can't thank God enough for allowing me to be on this platform, to allow me to showcase my talents and my skills, and to allow me to, inspire, the youth.
Keith, I got to ask you, what's the next steps for you? Obviously, you make this announcement, right? And a lot of people leading up to the draft, there'll be a lot of commotion, a lot of distractions as well. What's your kind of goals leading up to the NBA draft now? What's next for Markquis Nowell?
My main focus will be just to continue to work on my conditioning, continue to sharpen my skills, to get even better. I mean, I feel like I had a great season, but I feel like I could get even better with, my shot making ability, with my conditioning, with, just everything. So I'm gonna just sharpen my tools, continue to be the leader that I am, and just have that follow over, in the NBA combine, and things of that nature.
All right, well, we've been looking back, obviously, during the show, but we also got to look forward. So we got to give our picks, get your thoughts on it. Who do you think's going to win it all this year?
You put me on the spot. Okay. I like UConn chances. I feel like they have, a well-rounded team. They have dynamic point guards, and they have a big man who is hard to stop with Adam Sanogo. But, yeah, I like UConn chances.
Man, all I can tell you is this. March Madness is about memories. And for the rest of time, when people talk about the greatest moments, you're going to have one of them. And you mentioned the Garden. When people walk through the Garden in 15 years and talk about best moments, you were part of one of them. Thanks for hanging out with us, man. Congrats on all your success. Can't wait to watch you just kill it in the league.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me.
We inch closer and closer to the chaos of tonight with two huge matchups in Houston. FAU taking on San Diego State. Miami taking on UConn. And it's time now for Worth a Watch, presented by Principal, where King's going to walk us through 4 players in the tournament who are worth a watch. See what we did there?
Pretty self-explanatory.
And I did this fancy touch screen, so I get to move things around. So what do you got for us, King?
Just don't mess it up and don't pick the wrong player.
I can't promise that.
I'm trusting on you right now, my guy.
We'll see how it goes.
Well, 2 players that made honorable mention, Nigel Pack and Adam Sanogo. Those guys have to be huge, but they aren't on my Worth a Watch. So starting off at number 4, we're going with Jordan Miller. And he's a guy. Texas has so many different options to be able to guard you on the defensive side, but he just made the game look easy. He dominated, didn't miss a shot from the field, and got to the free throw line 15 times, didn't miss a free throw either. Made it look easy as a 3-4 hybrid. He's a mismatch problem anywhere you want to put him. I love the smooth lefty stroke, but this guy needs to be huge if they want to beat UConn tonight.
I think it's going to be really interesting, too, King. Norchad, Omier, and Miller are the same size. They're both 6'7". UConn loves to push in transition, and a team that can slow them down a little bit. I think Miller can run a little bit better maybe than Omier can. 27 points. They're not here in this spot without Jordan Miller.
All right, who do you got next on your list?
We're coming at number 3, Isaiah Wong. And this guy right here might be the second best player in the tournament because he's talented. I mean, when you looked at what he didn't have a great game last game, but when it counted the most, he got the ball and did whatever he wanted to do. Tough shot after tough shot after tough shot. His shot-making ability is elite, and I think that if he can do the same thing and be that ACC player of the year that we know him to be, they can get a dub.
I agree with King there. The really funny part about this whole situation, Isaiah Wong could have been in a UConn jersey. One of 2 schools that Isaiah Wong visited was either UConn or it was Miami. Those were the only schools he visited. Decided to go to Miami, and it worked out for him there.
Yeah, it's working out for Miami. 2 of the 4 players so far. So let's see. Where are you going next, King? Who's at number 2?
We're going to take it down to Florida because at number 2, we're going with Johnell Davis. My man just got paid. He just got $10,000 because he signed with somebody. I forgot the name of the person he signed with. But my man just got paid because of his story, his toughness, his grit. And you see that every single time he steps on the floor. Kansas State did a good job of trying to contain him, but when it matters the most, he steps up. And if Florida Atlantic wants any chance to beat San Diego State, which I think they have a good chance to do, he has to be big and has to have a huge night.
And Nelly Davis, the first player in NCAA history to record 25 points, 10 boards, 5 assists, and 5 steals in a single tournament game. It was just really impressive to see what he has done to this entire team. They're going to have to shoot the 3 really well. Nelly Davis is 0 for 7 from beyond the arc in his last 2 games, so he's going to have to really start shooting well.
The fact that his name is coming up is one of the most magical things about this tournament because most people didn't know who he was before. Who's at the top of your list?
100%. And this actually is number 1 for not just because he's been dealing with a sickness, but I think that he's the best player in this tournament right now that's left in the Final Four, and that is my man Jordan Hawkins. His shot-making ability, especially from the 3, he's turned himself into a legit lottery pick. His athleticism at 6'5", smooth stroke at a 2-guard. If he's healthy, if he's good, if he can go and be Jordan Hawkins that we know him to be, UConn is easily the favorite to win the championship, but he has to be at full strength. If he's not at full strength, I don't know if they can get past Miami because Miami is better than what people think.
Latest news on Hawkins, he's going to be in the starting lineup tonight. He's made 16 threes so far in the tournament. I think he's an All-American, even though he's not listed as such. He's just kind of been that guy. He was not comfortable dribbling the ball last year, was not comfortable getting to the rim. He is comfortable doing that this year, so he's just kind of been that guy.
You mentioned lottery pick, too. Like, the legend made is going to be, you come through all of this, you're sick, you're not feeling great. You get in, you have a heck of a tournament. All right, those are the guys that are worth a watch according to these guys. Keep your eyes on them.
FAU, the San Diego State Aztecs, Miami, the Connecticut Huskies, headed to the Final Four. Bring it up, bring it up. Bring it up front. Bring it up, bring it up. Yeah, we here for what? We here for this.
We want to say we're a Cinderella team, say we don't belong, but we've constantly proven people wrong.
Sing, dance, or get out of the way. Aztecs are going to the Final Four.
We're going to celebrate tonight, but it's not over. We got a lot to prove. We still got a chip on our shoulder. UConn's back.
In what should be an epic Final Four.
And epic it will be. This is about to be some fun. We're going to get a little weird here. I'm joined now by Miami student Jake Baum and UConn student Keegan Brown. As you can tell, they're the professionals. They're both in polos with their respective schools. I'm in a Neon Doug t-shirt. But I will say this, as I look at this three-shot of us, the hair game is on point for all of this. Like, I think we could be 3/5 of a boy band and things would be working. I don't know who the bad boy is, but we'll figure that out. All right, gentlemen, we are having you on so that we can have a little bit of a debate here about who's got the edge. But we're going to start with some warm-up questions. Okay, so Jake, we're going to throw to you first here. Where's the watch party on campus? How's everybody going to be watching this thing go down?
That watch party is happening in the Watsco Center. The Watsco Center where the Canes generally play their games. It's going to be packed. It's going to be electric. It's going to be quite an event.
All right, that's Miami does it right. Keegan, you're in Connecticut. Where's the watch party for y'all?
Well, I'll tell you what, Fitz. Gamble is going to be absolutely packed tonight. It's a sold-out crowd at Gamble. And not only just there, we've got a couple bars on campus. Watch parties happening everywhere in apartments, all over stores. Everyone is tuning in, Fitz, in Connecticut. And safe to say, the entire state is the watch party tonight.
I mean, I'm only about 10 minutes down the road, so hit me with the invite. All right, Keegan.
Yeah, you know.
Let's start with some confidence meter. We're going to go to both of you. We'll start with Keegan. Keegan, your overall confidence when the tournament started in Connecticut's ability to get to where they are now was?
Well, I think we were very confident going into the tournament. Obviously, starting off the round of 64 with a massive win over Iona. We blew them out. And then after that, it was another blowout over St. Mary's. And then we blew out Arkansas. And then we blew out one of the best teams in the country in Gonzaga. So our confidence started off high. It only got higher. We did have some slumps over the season, but going to the tournament, this team was easily one of the best on paper, and I think they've proved it so far in the tournament. So safe to say, going into the Final Four, we're even more confident than we were before. But it's absolutely electric.
All right, Jake, your level of confidence when the tournament started in Miami to be here was?
It was high. Everyone here on campus knew that the Canes had the capability to get this far, obviously getting to the Elite Eight last year. The spread might not have agreed with us on all of the games, but we ended up coming out victorious, and Miami's certainly happy to be here. But nobody is surprised, especially the team and Coach L.
All right, Jake, let's get to the meat here. We're going to go full first take on this. All right, Jake, tell us, this is your chance to pitch me. I guess this is first take meets around the horn because I get to be a judge. I've always wanted to be reality. Jake, give me your statement on this game. Why is Miami going to win this game?
Well, keep in mind, we're only 1 year removed from an NCAA tournament where UConn was gone in the round of 64 to New Mexico State. Miami made it all the way to the Elite Eight where they were about to defeat Kansas, who ended up being the champions of the entire tournament. Moving past that, Miami has had tougher competition throughout the entire tournament, facing a 4, a 1, and a 2 seed, respectively, in their last 3, whereas UConn faced a 5, 8, and 3. So a lot tougher for Miami. That number 1 seed was the University of Houston. University of Houston, coming into that game, was only allowing less than 58 points per game. Miami went on and scored 89 on them. And remember, Coach L, he is no stranger to the Final Four. Back in 2006 with George Mason, he was here. Whereas UConn, Dan Hurley, prior to this, he had never made it past the round of 32. This whole game is going to be it's going to be a battle of turnovers. Miami is averaging more steals and fewer turnovers than the UConn Huskies. And we got the ACC Player of the Year, Isaiah Wong, averaging over 20 points per game in the past 3 matchups. Miami's motto for this whole tournament run has been, don't pick us. So my question to you, Fitz, why start now?
Oh, Keegan. All right, come on, man. Bring the fire. Give us your statement on UConn.
Well, I gotta start with this. Miami simply is not a basketball school. We do basketball up here in Stores. Fitz, you know what the nickname of Stores is, right? It's the basketball capital of the world. We do basketball here. Actually, we don't even have any classes. It's all just basketball here at the University of Connecticut. I'll tell you what, looking at this team, we've been dominant so far in the tournament. Like I said before, we're coming off a dominant win over Gonzaga, one of the best teams in the country. What team do you know in this tournament could have blown out Gonzaga by that much? It was a complete show of force. We have one of the most dominant front court duos in the country in Adama Sanogo and Donovan Clingan. Adama Sanogo leading the tournament in points per game. And, oh yeah, in the backcourt, we have one of the best shooters in the country in Jordan Hawkins. We can talk all we want about our offense. We've been scoring super high all throughout the tournament, but we're also one of the best defensive teams in the tournament as well. We're top 10 in defensive efficiency, and we've been getting stops on defense, and it's been capitalizing. We've been capitalizing on that, and we've been scoring really well. Look, Fitz, I look at this roster, and we have some talented freshmen, we have some talented sophomores, juniors, seniors, and they've really bought into the culture here. Dan Hurley, one of the best personalities in March.
I want to stop you right there for just a quick second. I just want to stop a quick second there.
What do you got to say about that over there? What do you got to say about that?
UConn might be a great defensive team, but you know who else was? University of Houston, allowing fewer points than UConn, and just want to let you know we scored 89 on them.
I didn't see University of Houston blowing out Gonzaga and Arkansas and some other talented teams as well in this tournament. We've been dominant all throughout March, and it's going to continue into the Final Four. I mean, look, I will say that I was higher on Miami than most going into the tournament. As you said, they have some talented guards, Jordan Miller, Isaiah Wong, but we've got Tristan Newton, we've got Jordan Hawkins, again, one of the best shooters in the country. He's going to have a lights-out game tonight, and I think you could just take a look at this roster, and it's absolutely electric.
I'm going to jump in.
We're going to dominate tonight.
I'm going to jump in. All right, what I know is that both of you guys can take my job. That's what I know. So at least give me a little bit of time before you do it. I've got to declare a winner, and this hurts my heart because I want to go to the party and watch, but I got to give it to Jake. Jake walked back in, had a good point, and then Keegan, you gave the opponent credit. You can't give the opponent credit. Oh, this has been an epic debate. I wish we could do this the whole I wish we could do it the whole show.
I'll give the opponent credit after we defeat them tonight. You know, we can't just beat sorry teams. I mean, Miami is a good team. This is going to be.
I got to respect the clock. I wish I had the dinger. Gentlemen, you guys are spectacular. Again, don't take my job for at least a couple of years. Thanks for hanging out with us. Sorry, I still want the invite to the UConn party. But, Jake, congrats on the big win.
Thanks for having me, Fitz. I appreciate it. Go Canes.
I mean, he brought props.
Yeah, that was great.
He brought props to the end.
Really
like, they got the flag. Like, I mean.
I like it.
Well done by both of them. Yeah. We got to get you our picks, obviously, as we look at this game. Let's take a look first at FAU, San Diego State. King, we'll start with you. Who do you got on this one?
I think I'm going Florida Atlantic.
No.
You know, let's go Florida Atlantic because I think it'd make for a great story. I mean, they believe that they should be here. I think that they will be able to outscore San Diego State. San Diego State is not a great scoring team. I'm going Florida Atlantic.
I'm actually going to go with King on this, Florida Atlantic. I think they, like we said earlier, they have already faced an SDSU earlier in this tournament, the Sweet 16. They beat Tennessee. Tennessee was a better defensive team than San Diego State actually throughout the entire year, better three-point field goal percentage defensively as well. So I think they win.
You guys giving me facts on why it's the right call to make, which means in this year's tournament, you take the opposite
That's a good
approach.
one, Fitz.
There are only 6 brackets left in the entire world, by the way, that are correct to this point, that have the correct Final Four. Those 6 people know nothing about college basketball because there's no way that you could have actually predicted this. Let's go to the next game. Obviously, it's one we talked a lot about, Miami, Connecticut. The guys were just debating it. All right, we'll start this time with Sam. Who you got in this
I'm
one?
going with UConn. I've been riding UConn all season long, Fitz. I think this team is just kind of they've just been dominant in a way that we haven't seen in a long time, especially their run throughout this tournament. I just don't think that they're going to slow down. I don't think Miami is going to be able to slow them down. I just think that UConn has too much depth. They've been shooting the ball too well, and a lot of this relies on the health, of course, of Jordan Hawkins. Right now, he's going to be in the starting lineup, so that's good news.
If Jordan Hawkins is the Jordan Hawkins that we know and love him to be, UConn, the only way they could lose tonight is if they beat themselves.
Yeah.
UConn can beat UConn. Miami will not do anything to beat UConn. UConn has to beat themselves in order to lose because the way that they're playing, as hot as they are, this team is going to win a championship.
So we all have UConn, and we'll stick there. All right, King, who do you have as your national champion when it's all said and done?
Hey, UConn Huskies.
All right. Sam, who do you have as your national champion?
UConn's going to win their 4th national title since the turn of the century.
Look at that. You guys are way too chalk at this point. I was confident a week ago that Alabama couldn't get beat. They got beat. Connecticut, I'm confident, which means they'll get beat. San Diego State's going to do what no one thinks. They're going to become the first West Coast team in ages to win a national championship. They'll break the whole streak. They'll become the trivia answer that you'll need for the next decade. I'm taking the Aztecs to win.
Do you really believe that?
Look, I think UConn's the best team, but my God, all I do is lose money on this whole tournament, so I have no idea what I'm talking about.
We've been wrong countless times throughout the tournament, so why not?
But we're right this time. Sam Ravech, King McClure, I'm Jason Fitz. This has been ESPN's Countdown to the Semifinals presented by Principal. We appreciate you guys hanging out. For everybody behind the scenes that put so much work into this show, thank you for giving us your time. Enjoy the games tonight.